Hey. Hey y'all, it's Ayanna. Welcome back to my channel. Before we get started, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on all my socials at _ringbells on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Y'all, I know it's been a minute. It has been so much going on since my birthday, y'all. Like, so much going on. Something really major happened for me over this past weekend. You guys can actually go look at my Instagram and you will see it is my most recent post. Actually, go like that, go run it up, go comment on it. Y'all, you might even be able to tell as the video goes on, but we'll wait on that. Anyways, as you can tell by the title, this is another Girl Was Tea. I don't know what episode we are on. I'm not sure if this is episode 3 or episode 4. For those of you who don't know, Girl Was Tea is when you guys email me in your stories and I read them on camera. Advice, my reaction, whatever it is that you guys are usually asking for. And yeah, y'all, this one, she didn't even title it. But anyway, without further ado, we're going to jump right in. So, she writes, "Hey girl, I'm going to get right to it. I want to know if I was wrong for pressing charges on my best friend. My name is Kira, 26, and I was friends with Shauna, 27, since we were in middle school. Kira and I basically grew up together. This all happened not that long ago, and I still feel bad about it sometimes. So back when we were kids, Shauna had always wanted to be a mother. It was like low-key a huge goal of hers, which was completely different than what I wanted. Okay. It's not that I didn't ever want to be a mom, but there was a list of other things that I wanted to accomplish way before that. When we were around 2021, both in college at the same school, Shauna had got pregnant. She was happy as hell, of course, but she was the only one. I was happy for her just because I knew this is something that she always wanted. The thing is, her baby dad was just some ninja she had met on a real drunk night. We listen and we don't judge. And then they developed a late night friends with benefits situation. She had told him and he was not having it. Said she was crazy and was trying to ruin his life and hers. Just because they had messed around a few times doesn't mean he was ready to be a parent. He basically told her in not so many words that he didn't want anything to do with her or the baby and to never contact him again. All right, so pause. Why are we having kids still with men that do not want the kid? And y'all, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I am a firm believer in if a man has one time to show me that he don't want me. A man got one time to show me that he don't want a kid with me. Why are you still going to go through and have that baby and then ruin your life, ruin the baby's life? He don't want nothing to do with you. It's not fair to the kid. I feel like when a lot of people make decisions, you're not thinking about the future life of that kid. I get it, you don't believe in abortions. You don't believe in, giving up the baby. Whatever the case is, but keep in mind of what he said beforehand. I get it, it takes two people, but just keep that in mind. And you're in school, you got your whole life ahead of you, you get pregnant, he's giving you this reaction, I would have been out of there. That's just me though. Anyway, back to the story. At the time, she took it surprisingly well, mainly because I don't think she expected him to have any other reaction. Shauna decided that she was going to keep the baby regardless of who felt what way. When she told her family, that consisted of her parents, her older sister, and her brother, none of them were supportive of her. We literally had like 1 to 2 semesters left. That's what I'm saying. You're literally so close to the finish line, about to finish school, start your life, get a career, date, then have a kid. You're so close. It's not like you had a kid when you were like 15, 16. You're so close to just finishing school, so why not just do it? And then your family's not really supporting you. You get what I'm saying, y'all? Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Shauna first found out she was pregnant. She was already about 2 months along. By the time her 4th month came, she wanted to drop out. See, Shauna, like, y'all, the story gets so much crazier. Okay. That was her choice and hers alone, which is why I was confused when she asked me to do the same. How are you wanting me to drop out of school with you, girl? I'm not pregnant. We didn't make a pregnancy pact. Like, I'm confused. Like, girl, I am not the one having a child. You are. I told her she should just stay in school because she's closer to being done than she realized. The school was even willing to let her go 100% online just so she could finish on time. She declined. She wants to ruin her own life. Like, she literally, I don't understand. Like, that's what I'm saying, y'all. Like, the mindset don't be mindsetting to me. The math don't be mathing. A few weeks later, she dropped out and she was back home, which was about 2 hours away. I guess after I told her I wasn't leaving school, she got mad and began to distance herself from me. Good riddance. Because if you're crazy enough to think that I'm going to drop out of school along with you to do what? Be your buddy, to be your pal? I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Stay in school. If you stayed in school, you finished school the right way, then you would have the support of your family. You literally what I mean when I say, y'all, people just bring babies into the world with no care of their future whatsoever. We would text here and there, but the overall connection was off. So about another month goes by, and I'm on Instagram. This girl was buying all types of stuff for the baby, and I wasn't hating, but I was curious as to how she was affording all of it, considering she was pregnant, had no real source of income. I was just a little confused. Time was flying, and I was about done with the semester when I got a random call from Shauna. She called to let me know she had a miscarriage and lost the baby. That's sad. She tells me that she told the father via text, and he thumbs up her message. He then got on Instagram and was basically celebrating and trying to be funny. That's what I'm saying. That boy did not care about her. He didn't want nothing to do with her. He probably low-key was praying that happened, so that way he didn't have to even deal with her later on coming for child support or anything else. I told her how sorry I was for her loss and that I was here if she needed me. From then, our friendship kind of got better, but the relationship with her family was still strained due to Shauna not wanting to go back to school. Why not? Like, no offense. Yes, it's a very sad, it's a traumatic situation, but why not? Even if you just go online, just finish online. Maybe you don't even want to go back to the school because he's there. Cool, finish online. They gave you that option. She said that everyone was being insensitive and wasn't giving her a chance to grieve properly. I tried my best to validate her feelings, but I did kind of agree with her parents since she was so close to finishing. She told me school was the last thing on her mind and that she would go back when she was ready. Long story short, the time never came. I eventually finished school, moved into an apartment about 20 minutes from the school, and had landed a decent job. Go ahead, girl. A year later, Shauna and I were still close. No weird hiccups were taking place, and I just wanted to be as supportive as a friend as I could be because I knew she was still hurting. I started dating my current man around the same time. Maurice, 31, who I met after a night out with some coworkers. You know how it goes. You get a man, and then naturally you aren't out as much or moving things around to accommodate your relationship. Because of that, me and Shauna's friendship took a small hit. And y'all, I don't understand that either. And I don't know, like I said, y'all ever see that girl TikTok that be like, I'm a dying breed or whatever she be saying?
Because I'm really I'm different. Like, I'm really a dying breed. Like,
literally, I feel like when I'm in a relationship, I still be with my friends. I still try to see them. I still try to show up for their events, everything. But it's like, when it's the shoes on the other foot and they get a man, go ghost. MIA. But I'm not the type of friend that cares, I'm going to still love you. I'm going to still, girl, when you ready to come around, I'm there. But I don't know why girls do that. But I feel like it's natural that you don't spend as much time. But when you completely ghost your friends altogether because you get a man, it's like, girl, be for real. Okay, anyway. Because of that, Shauna and I's friendship took a small hit. She seemed okay with it. We even tried to set her up with some people we knew, but she turned us down every time. She barely even wanted to be around because she felt like she was a third wheel most of the time. After about a year of being with Maurice consistently, he moved in with me and took over all the major bills. Not too long after, we found out we were pregnant. Oh, at that point in my life, I was okay with being a mom, but also wanted a ring to come along with the baby. Maurice was even more excited than I was, and so were our families. You see what I mean? Support system, good partner. I'm not saying that that's the way you got to do things, but it does make it a whole lot easier. I was super grateful to have the support system that we did. Only thing is, we live like 2 hours away from both sides of our families. I wanted to call Shauna to tell her, but decided against it because I wasn't sure how she would take the news since she lost her baby. Once I decided to post on Instagram, of course she called me and chewed my ass up for not telling her. I told her I didn't want to trudge up any old feelings, and she said not to worry about that and that she was happy for me and she couldn't wait to be an auntie. Well, that's good. That means she was taking it, well, but as we know how the story is going to go, I don't think she took it that well. We got close. She didn't mind coming over, hanging out with us, or I would go to her house and she would cook and we would just have sleepovers. She was by my side the entire pregnancy. I was really appreciative of her, but my mom had told me to be careful because it seemed almost as if Shauna was obsessing. But I told my mom she was wrong, and that was it. Our moms be knowing. Our moms be knowing. At least my mom do. Like, for sure. If she say that girl's not your friend, that girl is not my friend. Oh, that's going to happen. It's like she's a psychic most of the time. I don't know. You should have listened to your mom. Once my son was born, Maurice and I made Shauna the godmother because she was truly always there. Planned my baby shower, gender reveal, and was always helping out where she could. Some time goes by, and at this point, my son is 3 and is in daycare. Shauna had developed her relationship with my son. She would help us out when we couldn't pick him up on time. She would take him shopping, buy him toys, was working on words with him. She actually was the first person to see him walk, but made sure to record it for us. Wow. She was actually moving accordingly. Okay. Now, a month before everything happened, Maurice and I were both working a lot of overtime because we were saving up for a bigger place closer to where our families lived. My apartment was okay for the 2 of us, but with a kid, it was getting cramped. Maurice's job was an hour away, and it was harder to get the baby from daycare. In comes Shauna offering to pick him up when we couldn't. It's starting to sound like a Lifetime movie. You know how like those people, like they lie and wait and act like everything is cool, and then when you least expect it, they pounce? She would feed him, get him bathed, and ready for us to come pick him up when we got off work. So now we are getting to the day when everything went insane, and I crashed out the worst that I probably ever had. Earlier in the week, my mom had told us she was going to come down and visit, but she wasn't sure because my dad had a procedure he was getting done, but she wasn't 100% sure of the date. So I was working a double, and I worked at a startup that was getting ready to launch a new product, so it was all hands on deck. Usually, Maurice would leave before me except on Tuesdays and Fridays. I had to be at work between 7 and 8. So on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I would drop him off at like 7:15, 7:30, and I wouldn't get off work till 5 most days, and the daycare closed at 3:30. Latest, 3:45. And like I said, Maurice worked an hour away and didn't get off work until 5 or 6 usually. Y'all was working. That's... Whew, I commend people. That's why I said it pays to have a support system, because how you doing that and working overtime and trying to save up and you don't got nobody to watch your baby? Food for thought. So just as a precaution, I had asked Shauna if she could pick him up as normal. Now we're at the day when everything went left. So early that morning, after I had dropped my son off at daycare, my mom called and told me she was actually going to be able to come down and that she would pick him up later on. I texted Shauna and let her know she didn't have to get him, and then I called the daycare and let them know my mom was going to pick him up instead. I go through the day as normal, checking in with my mom and Maurice. So now it's around 3:45, and I was getting out of a meeting about to call my mom to see if she had picked up the baby and to see if there were any issues. I come back to 3 missed calls from the daycare, 6 missed calls from my mom, and 10 from Maurice. My heart would have been in my toes, because the only reason everybody would be calling me this much right at the time my baby is getting out of daycare is because something done happened with my child. I would have been losing my mind. And I don't even have kids, so I couldn't even imagine. But I feel like if I did have kids, my heart would be in my toes. So I called my mom back first, and all I hear in the background is commotion. My mom is saying that the baby wasn't there and that they released him. She puts me on speaker, and the front desk lady is telling me that Shauna came to get him. I was confused because I had texted her and told her never mind. So I'm thinking maybe she just didn't get my text. Girl, she got that text. She 100% got that text. I told my mom I'm going to leave work and head over there. I hung up and I called Shauna. No answer. I call her again. Straight to voicemail. But the panic wasn't settling in yet. Only because she's not just some stranger. I feel that, I guess. But why is she not answering the phone? Like, I called Maurice back and I was leaving work heading to the daycare. He was saying how it was weird that she ain't answer the phone or even text me hello. Like, he said he was going to leave work too, and I told him let me find out what is going on first before he just leaves, because we didn't know anything yet. You know that your child is missing from daycare and taken by someone that you did not give authorization to pick up your kid. I'm just saying. I get to the daycare and my mom is going off on the lady saying how I called and told them that she was going to be picking up my son, so why would they release him to Shauna? Exactly. The lady says how since Shauna always picks him up that she thought it was okay, and Shauna had told her that my mom actually wasn't picking him up anymore and I didn't have to call them and let them know. Where's the police? Call the police. Call the police. So now I was going off on the lady because what do you mean? I gave you specific instructions and y'all completely disregarded them. I am steady calling Shauna and my calls were going to voicemail. I didn't panic until I realized my texts were green. She blocked you. It took your baby. Not answering the phone. Police. This bitch had me blocked. And she had my baby. Girl, my head was spiraling to the point I had to sit down. My mom called Maurice and he left work to start making his way home. My mom ended up calling the police and recording a napping. At the sound of that, girl, I went into a full-blown panic attack. It felt like I was in a movie. About 5 minutes had went by and the cops pulled up. We explained to them the entire situation and gave them Shauna's address, her description, and they said they were going to go and send a car over to do a welfare check. We had to give them my baby's description too. What he was wearing that morning, places I know that she would take him. It was all a little too much for me. I can only imagine because your kid is missing. Like, next thing I knew, my man was coming through the door. A different officer comes over and tells us that nobody was at Shauna's house and that her car wasn't there either. They issued a damn bolo. For those of you who don't know, it's a be on the lookout. For her car with an Amber Alert for missing kids. I was thinking all types of shit, but mainly I didn't know why she was doing all of this. My mom was telling the cops how she lost her baby a few years back and was obsessed with me once I got pregnant, and this may have something to do with that. But everything was normal and I hadn't seen anything weird or off-putting that would make me believe that she would kidnap my damn child. After like 2 hours, I had went home and I called Shauna's mom. I was posting on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere I could think of. Her mom said she hadn't spoken to her in a few months, which was news to me because she had told me she just talked to her mom. Like, Lifetime movie, y'all. Like, don't you... Anyway, her mom told me that she didn't think Shauna got the appropriate care after her miscarriage, and now she is dissociating. Am I saying that right, y'all? Disassociating? I think I'm saying that. All of this made me sick to my stomach. We tried calling her off my mom's phone, Maurice, the cops, but she wasn't answering. Y'all can't track her phone. Y'all can't. At this point, it was around 7 p.m. and I couldn't sleep, think nothing. Girl, next thing you know, I get a call from Shauna. The main cop that I was dealing with told me to answer and be calm. So I answered, and this girl was crying and saying how she was sorry, but this was the only way that she could get her happy ending. I asked her if she could bring me my son back and we would forget the whole thing. Like, exactly. Like, girl, because the fact that you calling me crying, you make me thinking that you're going to do something to my child and to yourself. What you mean your happy ending? Your mom was right. While I had her on the phone, I went to see if she was still sharing her location, but she wasn't since she had already blocked me and then unblocked me. I told her we could all sit down and talk, and she just kept crying and apologizing. I could hear like a loudspeaker like she was in a store. I told her I could come to where she was and we could talk. She said no, and that this was the last time I would hear from her. I would be losing my mind, y'all. Like, she put me on speaker and let me hear my baby say, "Hi, mommy, I literally lost it." And then the girl hung up. I wasn't sad anymore. It was pure anger. Like, I could imagine. I would be in a jail cell. Like, she better hope I ain't see her again because I was ready to unalive her for real. Like, another 20 minutes goes by and the main cop, Adams, gets a phone call. He comes over while we were all sitting in my living room, and at this point, it's 9 o'clock at night. He says they done found her coming out of Target and they're holding her until we get down there. Thank God. We all rush and leave the house and follow them to the Target that was about 35 minutes away. We pull up, park, and sure enough, they had her ass handcuffed, leaned up against the trunk of her car. My son was sitting in the back of a police cruiser with another cop. They got him out and gave him to us. I felt like I could finally breathe again, y'all. And I was reading this before and I was trying hard not to cry because it's like I could only imagine. Like she said, could you imagine losing your kid? It's like you take a deep breath. And like she said, she could breathe again. Like you release it. I don't know. It's crazy to me. Maurice and my mom took him to the car and got him settled. I go over to Shauna's car and she is handcuffed, crying, looking dumb. I bet. Girl, you're going to jail. Jail. Don't judge me, but I spit on her face. As you should. As you should. As you should. She started yelling and cursing me out, and then one of the cops grabbed me. They unlocked her car, and this bitch had a brand new booster seat, like 6 duffel bags full of stuff. She went to Target and got so many groceries. Mind you, she drives a Traverse, so she had all the room. I don't know what a Traverse is, but I'll put a picture up here for y'all for reference. She was planning on taking my baby and disappearing. They officially arrested her, and the cops told us to go home and that he would be in touch. Well, thank God you got your child back. That would be traumatizing. I would need a lot of therapy after that. We went home, got my son comfortable. He was asking about Shauna and said that she told him they were going on a long trip to see the water in the mountains, whatever that meant. Like, right. Like 2 to 3 days had gone by. Maurice and I had both decided to take some time because of everything that had happened. My dad and Maurice's parents ended up coming down too for moral support. Cop Adams called us and said that Shauna was being charged with child napping, reckless endangerment of a child, luring a child, and some other stuff. Said she was actually facing some serious time with the napping charge alone. We were okay with that. I honestly had no love left in me for that girl. Like a week ended up going by and we slowly got back to normal. Our parents had went back home and we were putting the pieces back together. I'm working from home at this point, so I could stay home with my son while Maurice went back to normal, but he stopped the overtime. So this day, I get a call from Shauna's mom now wanting to be mother of the year. Yeah, because her daughter's in jail. And the only way that won't happen is if you allow that to not happen. She starts telling me how Shauna doesn't deserve to go to jail because all she ever wanted to do was be a mom, and now I am trying to get revenge. I kindly reminded her that her daughter is in the situation she's in because she chose to nap a child and go on the run. Maybe if she got the help that her mom says she needed, she would be okay, but they basically disowned her. I had no sympathy for Shauna. I was there for her at her lowest when nobody else was. Her mom said I didn't deserve to be a mother and that I never had time for my son because I was always working, and that Shauna was doing me a favor, and this is how I repay her. How I repay her? You cut me off. Now let's recap y'all for a second, right? You cut me off because I don't want to drop out of school with you when you got pregnant, right? You distance yourself. Then you lose the baby. Then you come back around. Then I'm a good friend to you. You're hanging out. I start dating. You're hanging out with me. You're hanging out with my man. I'm introducing you to people. You're around me. We're doing the whole pregnancy thing. I'm letting you be a good godmother, auntie, whatever to my child. And you repay me by going behind my back and going to his daycare, napping him, and going on the run. And this is how I repay her? Delusional. Must run in the family. Girl, I can't even tell you exactly what happened after that because we just started screaming, and I told her I wasn't dropping shit and she better hope they have a good lawyer and that the state doesn't charge her on their own since she was so worried about what charges we were pressing. Oh, she better hope that the state doesn't charge her instead of worrying about the charges that we were pressing. I believe she hung up after that. Now, you know how slow the justice system can be. Girl, like 6 months had went by at that point and we heard nothing. But what's funny was we were getting CPS called on us anonymously soon after that. We get a letter in the mail from Shauna. I don't even see how she was able to contact me with an open case against her, but whatever. In the letter, she basically called me unfit, said I was ungrateful, and that Maurice and I could have just had another baby. To say I was pissed was an understatement. It was different hearing it from her mother, but reading it on paper was crazy. I can only imagine, because why are you not apologizing and saying sorry and apologizing profusely, like over and over? Like each word should be, I apologize, I apologize, I apologize. Even though it won't change anything, but to call me unfit is crazy. That means you have no remorse. You wanted to get away with it. You were plotting the entire time and you were never my friend. Like, that's crazy. She says she did everything for me, more than Maurice and my family ever had while I was pregnant, and now she was going to jail because of the love she had for us. Her mom was right. She did need help. We never responded to the letter, but made sure we kept it for a rainy day. Like last year, we started going to court for the whole thing, decided to get my son therapy to hash through what happened because he wasn't taking it well, that Shauna wasn't around. And then that's so sad. You developed a genuine relationship with my son, and now I have to eventually explain to him that Auntie Shauna's no more. Auntie Shauna needs help. Auntie Shauna's with the doctor. Today, she is still in jail and facing 25 years if she is found guilty. I probably shouldn't even be telling you the story, but I love your channel and thought you would enjoy the craziness. Her mom has still been reaching out to me trying to argue, but the situation is out of my hands at this point.
Sorry. I understand that, but it's above me now.
Once we get an update, I'll be sure to write in again. More than likely, she'll be going away for a long time due to the strict laws of my state alone. On the brighter side, we found a bigger place closer to home and are no longer... Oh. Y'all, I'm tripping. We found a bigger place closer to home and are now expecting baby number 2. Congratulations! We've gotten some mixed opinions on how we could have handled the situation and that we are leaving Shauna to drown. Am I the asshole for cutting ties and not caring what happens to Shauna? Since everybody be putting their suggestions, can you do a story time on a bad date or another one about clingy? Love your channel. I don't think you're the asshole because... Again, I'm not a mother, so I can't give you advice as to what I would feel a mother would do. But I feel like naturally motherly instincts kick in. You get what I'm saying? And you were really like, oh, I'm not really worried about it. It's Shauna. Like, it's Shauna. Like, I'm cool. Like, that's like me saying like, oh, it's Letty. You know, and I be telling y'all the stories. Oh, it's Letty. Oh, it's Star. And then out of nowhere, you do something grimy behind my back to, you know, backdoor me. And you backdoor me in the worst way. And I get it, you always wanted to be a mom. You know, you went through that traumatic experience with the miscarriage and everything. But she should have gotten help then. She should have gotten actual therapy to help her go through that. Instead, like your mom said, she obsessed over you. And she just started molding her way into thinking, oh, I'm your mom. I'm picking you up from school. I'm feeding you. I'm bathing you. And then her mom is in her ear like, you do more for their kid than they do for him. So... yeah, but I mean, play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. You can't go taking people's kids. That carries hefty fines, hefty charges, hefty time, and I don't think you're the asshole. I feel like that's honestly what she deserves. But anyway, y'all, I hope y'all enjoyed that. Make sure to keep sending me your stories. I have so many. I've been behind, y'all. I know. Hope y'all missed me. I definitely missed y'all. I have another story time. Y'all probably will see me wearing this exact same thing because I have another story time coming for y'all back to back to back. We going to start running the stories back to back because I got a lot. But yeah, y'all, go to my Instagram, look at my most recent posts, _ringbells, and go comment and show your girl some love. But until next time, I will see y'all in my next video. Peace.